David, are you out there? How about you, Steven? Are you guys out there? It's like we've got the David Randolph on with us. I think he is. Welcome. I believe we are live. Let me double check. I think we are live with YouTube. Yep, we are. David, are you out there? All right. We are live on the YouTube channel. On the YouTubes. Stephen Drake, my friend. How are you, sir? Can't hear you. You're muted. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? The David Randolph is out there. How you doing, David? We've got the red lights going. Checking out my different lights. I better chill out. It's going to look like a strobe light or something here pretty soon. Make somebody might stroke out or something. Hopefully that's a good color. David, can you hear me? We are going live, everybody. If you're watching us from the YouTube G2Free STL YouTube channel, appreciate you watching us. And if you're not, and you're not watching live, or you're not watching from the G2Free, STL YouTube channel, if you're here with us live, we've got Luis Scudero is here. Lois, I'm sorry, Lois. How are you?
Good. I just changed my name. I'm not David. I'm Lois.
Okay. Lois, are you affiliated with David?
Yeah, I do some work for him on the side, so I guess that's why I came up with that. But anyway.
Okay, that's great. No, welcome, Lois. Welcome. Stephen D is here as well. Welcome to the Gateway to Freedom Meetup Sunday night stream. We're doing these on select Sunday nights. We tried doing them. I think once we get past June, get past June, we're going to be able to be consistently every other Sunday. We just had Mother's Day thrown in there that happened to land on the Sunday we would have normally done this. So we had to bump it, and then Father's Day is coming up. So our Memorial Day came, so we bumped it. The Father's Day is coming, so we bumped it early. And then we'll skip Father's Day. Obviously, we'll do it again in 2 weeks. And then if we'd have done it 2 weeks from then, it would have been like 4th of July weekend. So I was like, well, let's do it the last weekend of June too. So we're doing 4 out of the 5 Sundays in June. But I think once we get past 4th of July, I think we're smooth sailing on every other Sunday. And that's what we're trying to do, is bring a laid back, but just 1 hour quick get together every once in a while, talk about real estate investing and all things real estate investing. Lois, where are you calling from? What do you do? Or where are you calling? Like I'm Larry King or something. Caller, where are you calling from? Lois, where are you at and what do you do?
Louis, and I have 5 rental properties.
Really? Oh, in St. Louis.
Yep. We're in St. Louis, south of the airport, and then out in St. Charles.
Oh, awesome. Well, great. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate that. And Stevie D, what do you do? Where are you calling? Where are you joining us from? Oh, yeah, he's muted. Oh, he'll be back, I guess. We had some other folks joining us. We got John out there. Welcome, John. Everybody, when you join the Zoom, you're muted on entry, so feel free to unmute yourself when it's time to talk. But Steve, are you back?
Yeah, I'm having trouble signing on in my computer, so I'm signed in through my phone right now.
Okay, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Tell everybody where you're coming from.
St. Louis.
What do you do?
Rental properties and looking to do a little lending.
Awesome. That's fantastic. John, I know I called on you and then I skipped you, huh? Are you out there, John?
Hey Rich, how you doing?
Not bad. How you doing?
I'm good. First time actually being on here.
Okay, John. No, welcome. Welcome. What's your last name, John?
Collins.
Collins. John Collins. I know John Collins. Well, I didn't see a face. I didn't see a last name. I would have known. But yeah, welcome, John. There you are.
Yeah,
There
I
he
am.
is. Welcome, man. Welcome. Glad you could join us. We just we talked about all things real estate today. I actually do have something, and normally we don't really have a. I mean, I have a guest speaker every once in a while, but normally we don't have, unless we have a guest speaker on, we don't have like a topic, right? We're just talking real estate. I like to have folks share any wins they've got, share any, if they have any deals are available, or you're looking for a specific deal or something like that. We let folks, open those up and offer those to anybody on the Zoom. But today, I actually, after we get through all that, I do have a topic I want to talk about because it's been kind of hot in my discussions with some folks here and there, and it got brought up actually with the discussion I was having today. So yeah, I'd love to talk about like the DSCR loan process and how that gets evaluated and all that kind of stuff. So if anybody's interested in something like that, we'll talk about it. Lois, have you done any DSCR loans for your rental properties?
No, I haven't. I just use the local bank that's near me, and
Okay.
it's the First State Bank of St. Charles is who I use.
Is that who you use? Okay, awesome. No, thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that. How about you, John? Have you used DSCR lending at all for any of your rental properties or anything like that? Or tell us, I apologize, John, tell us what you do and where you're calling from.
Well, I'm here in St. Louis, mainly rentals. I did do my first flip earlier this year.
Oh, good for you.
And actually this weekend, last few days, I was at a Mr. Landlord conference in Indianapolis. Just got back last night.
Really? How
Yeah.
was that?
It was real good, real good.
Yeah.
Also, you talked about DSCR. There were a couple of DSCR lenders there. So got, connected with a few of them. And I actually did my first DSCR last year on
Okay.
a refi. So yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Landlord conference was real good.
That's cool. I didn't even see that pop up anywhere. Somebody mentioned that to me. Dwayne Steers had mentioned that to me a couple years ago. And I guess I wanted to go. I've got his book. I've got that big old thick book.
Right. Yeah. I got that from his boot camp a few years ago.
Yeah.
But it's always real good because he even encourages landlords to share what they do. So it's not just like one-sided, just him giving all the instructions.
Right.
He wants people to share ideas. So it's real good.
Good. Yeah, I love that. I love that part. I did not know again, I've never been to one of his events, so I don't know what all kind of stuff he shares. But that is awesome. I love it when folks encourage the community to share and learn from each other as well. As long as you don't have somebody over there, giving crud illegal advice or something.
Right.
There's Shelly. But yeah, as long as they're not giving crud illegal advice, it's usually it's really awesome that folks encourage sharing and things like that. Stevie, did you get your Zoom to work?
I'm still working on it, but I got you through the phone.
Okay, that's fine. You're perfectly fine. Use your phone. It's fine.
Yep.
Shelly, I see
Hey.
you. Is James there with you?
He sure is.
Yeah. All right. Good deal. Wait, I just see a hat. There's no James attached to that hat. There he is. How's it going, James? I was like, man,
This is my
James looks
husband
different. Right. James looks a little different. He looks like a couch.
Well, he sits on it a lot.
Oh yeah, right. James and Shelly, why don't you tell everybody where you're dialing in, zooming in from, and what you do?
We're in St. Louis. Right now, we're purchasing RV parks.
Oh, nice. That's exciting. I've got a good friend of mine in real estate investing that does RV parks as well, and she's killing it. So I hope, and she's in Pace's community too. So you might already know. Do you know Ashley Perez? No. might check her out. She's awesome. She was one of us. She came on and actually walked us through like using prop AI on one of our meetups here or one of our Zooms a couple months ago. And she talked about using AI to find leads, and she was talking about prop AI a bit. So, but she's amazing. She's great, and yeah, I may have to have her on just to talk about like RV parks and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. But we're open to we talk about just about anything real estate investing, and I like to ask everybody whenever we get started, just because I like kicking things off. I like kicking things off in a positive light. So I ask folks if they have any wins they'd like to share that you've encountered, over recently. It doesn't have to be like the last couple of days. It could be a few weeks, or months, or whatever. Are there any wins? And I like celebrating, any win, even if you think, oh, it's just a little win. I don't care. I want, as long as you're making progress, it's a win, right? So does anybody have a win they like to share?
I'll share mine.
Please.
We've been renovating a property for the past 6 months, and we're at the end. And the neighbor from across the street who's renting over there came over, and she's loved it because it's all renovated and it has a basement, and hers doesn't. And she says, so I didn't even have to put it on the market.
That's amazing. That is fantastic. I love that. Congratulations. That is like the best case scenario, isn't it?
It sure is.
That is awesome. Fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing.
I just had another one too where I just had another one too where in my townhouse, the couple they bought a house, which I'm thrilled that they bought a house, but her brother and fiance loved the townhouse, so they moved in. So I didn't have to market that one either.
That's fantastic. Doggone, you are just
and that's all.
No, you're winning like crazy.
And that just happened like all in the last like 2 weeks here. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. Those are exciting. I love hearing that. Anybody else have anything?
I'm still gonna take my pictures though, so the next time.
Yeah. Definitely. Any other ones out there? And we got some other folks join us. Ken Seibel's on the Zoom with us. Angelique is here. Hey, Angelique, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. I'm babysitting, so I missed the last couple, so I'm trying to get back in the routine of getting on these. But yeah, I'm doing well.
That's great. It's good to see you.
You too.
Do you have any wins over the last since you've been on last time? Any wins come up?
Oh, I don't know. We have a couple sober living homes. We have a couple flips going on.
Awesome.
So that's kind of what we're up to. And I had a question for you. I was wondering if you had the dates for the conference, so I can make sure I add it.
I do. Yes, ma'am. I do. And we're hoping in the next week we'll have the website up and running. But Gateway to Freedom Conference will be October 11th and 12th at the Hollywood Casino in St. Louis.
All right.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a fun time. It's two jam-packed days.
Yeah.
Hopefully very value-packed.
I'll be there.
Oh, awesome. Glad to hear that. So we should open the website here like in the next week, so that we should be able to start selling tickets and get going on that, because it's almost just 4 months away. So we got to get going.
Good. Thank you for the dates.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking. And anybody else wants to come, that'd be great. Now, Steven's going to say, hey, Angelique, you better watch it. He says he wants to be the first one to buy tickets. So as soon as I say, okay, dates are open, you guys have to rush out there and see who gets to actually buy.
I've been waiting.
I think the last 2 years I was first.
Yeah.
Ticket purchase.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Keith's on with us now. Hey, Keith, how's it going?
Hey, Rich, how are you?
Not bad. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Tell everybody where you're calling in from.
I'm here in St. Louis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Angelique, tell everybody where you're from, because I forgot to ask you.
Northern California. I'm in Northern California.
See that, folks? we're spanning coast to coast just about. Anybody from the East Coast out here? No. That's awesome. James and Shelly, I not meaning to point you out or call you out, but what kind of wins have you had over the last couple of months or weeks or whatever?
Well, for now, our tenants paying a rent on time.
That is a big win. That is.
We've had to deal with her legally over the past few months, and I guess finally she was doing this thing where we have tenant cloud is the way that if it goes through any maintenance requests, any payments, any it just pretty much records everything. It's very good for documentation, and it keeps track of late fees and all that stuff.
Right.
And she's finally gotten caught up on her late fees, and which were astronomical there for a while. But then she was doing a thing where she was telling Jim, hey, she would send a payment and then it would bounce. And she'd say, and it happened for like the longest time.
Yeah.
And she would call Jim and say, I paid, and Jim's like, no, you didn't. It bounced. You didn't pay anything. And so finally, all calm on that front. So I call that a win for us.
Heck yeah. I mean, it is. It is, especially, talking about, what you're talking about and the experience you've had with that tenant. That is a huge win. It really is. I've had tenants like that as well. And they don't, I mean, it snowballs, right? I mean, they get behind and they don't realize how fast that builds up. And especially with late fees and all that stuff. And now they're in a hole where they can't catch up. And then I'll pay you when I get my tax returns.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. Oh,
I've heard that one.
Too.
Yeah.
She gave us some money for that, but I mean, it was getting to where we thought that she was going to have to go and all this other stuff, and we were kind of getting a little nervous about that because we're partnered with Pace and Abraham, and we didn't want to. If you don't find a tenant within 2 months, you lose the house. And Abraham was telling us during Squad Up that a lot of that, it was through the deal or no deal. He said a lot of people were not complying with the rules, and so they quit doing it.
Oh, wow. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So when we saw Pace on the 14th, I told him, that was like the first thing I said is, we're one of your deal or no deal success stories. And I was proud of that because, I wanted to let him know that, not everything was bad where that was concerned.
Not everything is bad. No, that's great though. That's great. I'm sure he was excited at that. If he didn't already know, because knowing him, he probably was like, yeah, I know.
Exactly.
But it's good though. I mean, I'm sure he gets a kick out of folks, telling them, coming to tell him rather than just accepting that he probably already knows.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's awesome. Anybody else on the call have any big wins or little wins? Like, I don't know why I said big wins. I guess I'm just thinking all wins are big. I love wins, no matter how little they are. They drive us. They're like the fuel that keeps us going. Right. It's like when I go out and play golf, I'm like literally the worst golfer. You don't want me going. If you're a golfer at all, and I'm horrible. And the thing is, I don't golf much, so I don't get better because I'm so competitive that if I'm not if I don't see improvement right away at something, no matter whatever I try, I get frustrated really easily. And plus, it costs a lot to learn how to golf correctly, right? So I'm like, I can spend my money somewhere else, but I'll go along and play and have fun. But I get frustrated, and you could play 18 holes and have every shot bad, but then you get that one shot that's good, and you're like, yeah, that's why I come back and play, because you had one out of 180 shots or whatever. I know you shouldn't have 180 shots. I'm just kidding, but one out of that many are good. You want to keep coming back, like, yeah, I know I could do it. So any little win.
Well, I have a win, but it was from a bad situation.
It's okay.
I had a tenant move out at the end of April, but the property was handled by a management company. And I asked them not to renew the person. I just had a feeling. And so once she was out, and she was out by the end of April, when I went to look at the property, I've never seen so many roaches in my life. I mean, just all over the place, even on the ceiling. And so it's like it's really taken me until now where I'm comfortable, where I haven't seen any like the last week. Because even though I got the property pretty much ready, I couldn't rent it out till I know they're gone and know any eggs they might have laid. So I just went through everything trying to get rid of them. I had a certain type of spray, and then I bought some industrial stuff off of Amazon. And then I had read on Google about using a ozone generator, which I have one. So I tried that, which that said, that could kill them off a little bit too. So I started running that just about every day over the last week. And I finally, when I went by there this morning, finally at the point where I didn't see any dead ones around. But I would still see a few now and then, but I couldn't rent it until that's gone. All of them were gone. So I guess I'm finally calling it a win where I can get it rented again.
Hey, that is a win, man. Anytime. I mean, you go from that. Oh, that's a big win. That really is. So good job. I mean, seriously. Way to go.
I was just, scared, not, ones that were live and running around, but trying to get any eggs they laid or, just anything like that too. So
right. True. That's 100% true. Yep. 100%. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else have a win that they've enjoyed recently?
I can give you one, Rich.
Okay, Keith. Yeah.
Yeah. My long-term rental, so I rent it out for a year at a time, and my tenant is moving out in end of this month, and I found a new tenant. And we were able to raise the rent. We haven't had to put anything into it. And we're able to raise the rent for another. And this could be a very long-term tenant, so that's good news. He'll move in right week after she moves out, so it'll be great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is sweet. See, that's how it's supposed to go, folks. It's just
exactly.
Nice and smooth, just like that. Has anybody ever had one like that? I know I haven't. So freaking great for you, Keith. That's awesome.
Well, the opposite is my place. I have one down at the Ozarks, and that one is not renting right now. And I don't know why. It rented quite a bit last summer.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I haven't really looked to see if things in the Ozarks are slowing down. I mean, people are going down there, but I had almost every weekend last summer was rented, quite a few during the week, and this summer I'm probably half capacity, so I'm not sure why.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's and it's a short-term rental, obviously.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
And you're here in the St. Louis area. So I forgot to ask you to tell everybody where you're from, right? Didn't I? Where are you calling in from?
Louis. I said St. Louis. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. And I'm going to ask you
good.
what you do. You said rental properties, I guess. I just, we get folks on and I just get lost.
Yep.
We got Dwayne on. Dwayne is in the house.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We sure can. How are you doing? Tell everybody where you're zooming in from and what do you do?
What do I do? I'm a bum. You know that. And I do know Lois, and Lois was very kind to herself. I do want to say I call her the great rehabber because when she fixes up a house, her and Bill, they are absolutely great.
Yeah.
And so I went out and saw their newest one. It's the first time I've ever seen that they sell half duplexes, but I've learned a lot from that trip out there.
Oh, wow.
And I'm out of St. Louis.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate that. Dwayne, I was just mentioning to John. John is on the call here. He just came back from the Mr. Landlord Conference.
Yeah, I heard that. I was listening to all that. I just couldn't get on. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yep, not a problem. I was saying that I think you turned me on to that, and I didn't know he had a conference, and I've been wanting to go, and I didn't even know when it was or anything. So
he's always been good.
Yeah. I'm going to look forward to, maybe I'll try to keep an eye out for next year. Check it out. But
he does cruises too. That's one of the big
things.
I
think that's what you and I had talked about. I thought you said that he had a cruise. Yeah.
They're going to Costa Rica this time in January.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Are you going to go on that?
No, I'm not going. I'll be in Mexico at the same time, so I already got a plan.
You know, Mexico, Costa Rica. At least you'll be out of the country, right? Enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's fantastic. That's awesome. Had a rental property that passed electric code inspection, so that was good. That was my win for the week. But yeah, so what does anybody have either a deal you have that you'd like to offer the group? And again, this is all being recorded, so it's on a Zoom. If anybody watches it, they'll be able to see any deal you're offering or any property you have available for anybody to buy or rent or whatever. And then, not that I think any renters are going to watch our Zoom, but if you have anything you're looking for specifically, share that with us as well. Anybody?
I'm looking for 2+ bedrooms.
2+ bedrooms? Anywhere specifically, Dwayne?
St. Louis. We've got some over in a place called Mount Carmel in Illinois.
Okay.
It's about an hour or 2.5 hours east of here.
Yeah.
And
you do have properties out there?
Pardon?
You do, or you used to?
Well, I have a partner out there now.
Oh.
Or I have a partner here. Then she's from there, and she scored. She made me an offer I couldn't refuse, so we decided to work together.
Nice.
And if you want to win, I'll tell you a quick win.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
We bought the first place for $3,000, and my job is to bring the money. I could afford $3,000. She sold.
You found that in your couch cushions.
Yeah, she sold it for $10,000.
Nice.
And they're now on their second payments coming up. So, and that's basically what we're looking to do is buy, fix them up, and sell them to people to live in. Okay. And there's a lot of laws you got to watch on that.
Sure.
And so we think we have that all figured out. We'll find out if we start wearing orange. You'll know it didn't work out.
Dwayne's going to be joining the Zoom from prison.
Yeah, but Vito will make sure everything's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing I really admire about you, Dwayne, is you are very very particular about making sure that what you're doing is right and legal.
Well, I mean, I know you can get by with a lot of stuff in real estate, but I also know some of it can bite you in a bad way.
Yeah, true. Very, very true.
So I'm glad I finally lucked out and got onto this thing.
Yeah, glad you did. Glad you did. Anybody else have something you're either looking for or you have something available? Yeah, go ahead, Shelly.
I'm looking for somebody that for funding for our RV parks.
Yeah. Have you been? What rocks have you unturned so far?
Well, we've looked at a lot of them. That's for sure. We looked at 2 yesterday, and we took a road trip. So we went to Illinois and Iowa for our road trip, and my dog is all tuckered out.
Oh.
it was a day for her. She didn't get her naps in, so but yeah, we did that, and so we're waiting to see what happens with those.
Right. Yeah. As far as funding, have you started looking anywhere? Have you talked to folks, or where are you at in the process?
I've talked to some people.
We're in the process of getting it under the contract.
Yeah, we're in the process of getting one under contract.
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk to a guy that we met at Pace's that Meetup.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk to him tomorrow, and then I got others that I have reached out to. But
can I ask about what interest rates are going for that?
For RV parks?
Yes, if you don't mind.
I really don't know offhand. I thought you were going to say, I guess you got nothing?
Well, I was going to say something, but
I have no idea. We're going to probably figure that out once we get the terms from the lenders, what they're offering.
how it starts and it's going Monday.
He said we're gonna work on how to structure those once the lending part
So you,
goes.
so you're looking at creative finance.
Yes.
Hey,
I'm
yeah,
I'm listening to him and trying to answer.
I'm doing multiple things here as well.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, what I do is I do a thorough analysis, cash flow as is. And if I'm not going to make 10% on whatever I invested, and well, that's an all cash thing. If it's not going to turn me 10%, I don't want to buy it. So, and I don't mind telling you what percentages are because I don't think that's private, at least in my life. And the last place that I dealt with in a bank, I went the commercial route, which I found very nice, and it was 8.5%. But I could get money real quick that way, and the keeping it live was fine until I sold the properties that I secured it with, and that ruined it.
We were thinking about. I'm trying to turn this
Yeah,
up.
we
How do I turn this up?
are purchasing at 10 plus or more cap rates for the RV parks. So 10% is the lowest we're going to go for RV parks.
And that's on an all cash deal, correct?
All cash deal, yes. On
Okay.
any of the deal, actually. If we
Well,
could
I mean,
trade it
you can
or
go out
cash.
30 years and get 10% real easy, but
What's that?
you can go out 30 years on a loan and you get 10% real easy.
Amortizing for 30 years. And we're offering balloons for about 10 to 12 years. So
Yeah,
we can refinance and get out of it. And so it's more appealing to the people selling it.
yeah, I can see that happening. I just had a deal that I think got turned down. It was $70,000, and I was told that it rented for around $800, and he wanted a 20-year amort, and for the first 10 years you couldn't pay it off.
Is that the one you were telling me about?
Yeah, and I thought that guy must think that we're total idiots.
Right. Then, because we were talking, I asked, "Is that like you get a penalty if you pay it off in 10 years?" You're like, "No, you can't. You just can't do it." It's like this is crazy.
Yes, I've sold a bunch of them like that with you can't quit unless we both agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Okay.
I mean, you got to know who you're doing it to, and you also want to do it to somebody that you know you're going to get paid and that they can make money.
Yeah.
At least I do because I want that money and I don't want to really take it back.
Right.
And the last one I did like that, right after that's when the rents rocketed up. So I know that she's real safe on all those properties now.
Sure. Sure.
Because a lot of people buy really thin, and I've listened to some people talking, and they're going down to, well, I'm going to probably do 6 years at this, and I'm going, are you kidding me? And they're not usually working with, like on my spreadsheet, I have the very top line. It's as though I did an all cash deal with all the same expenses. And if that doesn't say 10% or higher, I'm not really interested in it.
Right. Right. True.
And that's been good forever in my life.
Yeah, we're offering 10%. Probably looking at around 12 is probably the percentage that we're actually looking at.
Yeah, well, that's good. If you can say sit in the way it is, and you would have got with the cash flow, and you're at 12%, I'd say you're golden.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're just looking for somebody that's willing to go into RV park because it is commercial, and the NOIs are about anywhere from 2 to 300,000 after everybody's paid, all expenses, everything.
Okay, then that begs the question for me. Why would you want to sell that if you're making 300,000 on it a year?
I'm not wanting to sell it. I'm wanting to buy them.
Oh, I got the impression you said you wanted to
No, I said
here and then
lending.
sell it.
We needed lending.
No, we are.
Well, she's not on the straight level. She's half like over.
Everybody move in close so you can hear.
Yeah, we're strictly looking to buy and hold. Is what
Okay.
we're doing. We're doing the buy and hold, But the balloon is just a refinance out of it so we can get everybody paid. And we're hoping by the math that we've done on the underwriting that we can have it paid off by then.
Yes, I would think so.
I think it could happen.
You're probably paying a little over $1 million for it then.
Well, one of them is going to be 3.8 million, and one of them is 1.6 million. But the one that's 3.8 has a restaurant, a gas station, and an RV park all in one. And it's a gas station. I mean, it's all on its own exit on the off the highway, and it has no competition. So they have. We were there yesterday, and not 1 minute that we were there was the place not packed. Because it's right off Highway 80.
So there's no competition for food and gas and the RV park.
And there's also racetracks, 5 racetracks within 30 minutes of the place, like NASCAR racetracks.
Wow.
Just speaking probably out of my bum, but that sounds like you got a golden deal going.
We're hoping so. And
I think we do.
The guy that we spoke to, the owner that we were talking to yesterday, I got back to him today with the new LOI, and he agreed to the LOI for 3.8 because he was asking 5 million, and we've been negotiating back and forth until we got him down to 3.8.
And he had 20 offers.
Wow.
And
yeah,
he narrowed it down to us
and 2 others, and then now he's
now he likes ours.
Yeah.
And we really vibed with him, and we spent some time with him, and he let us have they eat also in there. It's like a little cafe in there that they sell food. They sell like burgers and fries and ice cream. They got a big ice cream thing in there, and
with
so
specialized ice cream.
With special ice cream that they get the ice cream from like a company from Wisconsin, and he let us.
Amazing.
He let us try the ice cream, and we're like, "Yeah, this is good."
Yeah,
sounds good. Sounds amazing.
But we feel really comfortable with the deal itself, and right now, as a matter of fact, I'm going through the due diligence that we're requesting from him now. Because he asked us to send it over, and I'm trying to create the due diligence that we need from him. Is what I'm kind of doing over here on the side while she's on the Zoom with you. And once I get that done,
a lot of that pages.
Yeah, we want to
There's
make
a lot of what? Would you say there was a lot of
a due diligence?
Like 16 pages worth.
Yeah. I'm kind of taking our old one from real estate and adapting it to the RV/business and stuff. And there's going to be more due diligence for those things than what we typically are used to. So I'm kind of.
Did you ask to see 2 years worth of tax returns on just that business part?
I asked for 3 actually.
You the man.
Yeah, I asked for 3 years on the tax returns.
And he's willing to give us anything that we need as far as the financials or anything on the he said he's owned it for 10 years, and the employees, he pays them well enough that they stay. So, and he says the place practically runs itself. So
that's what we're looking for.
It's perfect. I mean, he showed us all around, and I mean, we were there, and the gas station was even so busy.
Right.
And then as we were leaving, the cafe was busy.
Yeah.
He's got like booths inside of the gas station, the building, and he's got a bunch of booths in there, and he's got like snacks and stuff like that for people coming through, and drinks, and they prepackaged the ice cream, and they have T-shirts for the place and everything.
Yeah, it's going to be a great deal. Once we get the contract and everything signed, which we're kind of working on getting that part of it done, as well as getting the due diligence request over to him.
Is he willing to finance any of it for you?
We tried that, and he's an ex financial advisor. This is what his previous job was before, and he does not want to do that. So,
Hard to hear that.
I know. That was the worst part that we heard talking to him yesterday. It's like, oh no, come on. But
Well,
no,
if
he
he was,
does not want it because he just wants to cut ties, and he's going to Florida to be an actor with Disney.
Wow.
wow.
He's got the money, so I guess he's just, that's his dream. So he doesn't care about
Yeah, he's chasing
anything
his passion.
else.
He's
So
chasing
which
his
is
passion.
fine. He's the type of person, he says, that he'll do something for a while and then he gets bored and then he's got to do something different.
Well, I would suggest what I might have suggested at that time is if you take time, you'll pay less taxes than if you get it all as a lump sum.
I told him that's part of our LOI process is putting that little statement in there to say, hey, underneath because I always offer three different options on the LOI: the cash, and then two creative deals, one with a low down payment and a bigger interest rate, or a bigger down payment with a lower interest rate. So on those two creative deals that we usually do, what we do is put a line in there saying, this is how much your monthly payment will be, and this is how much your tax savings is going to be. I break it down to everything in the LOI for them. And apparently he has everything covered on his end as far as covering the taxes. And I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah, because he's got a guy that's like
he earns nothing on his tax documents.
Yeah, so that's the way he shows it.
With the
Do we have any
depreciation.
financial advisors on this call? Rich?
Not right now.
Okay.
Damn it!
No.
I don't have much respect for them.
Yeah.
No, because I used to go every 2 years to see what they were preaching out there just to make sure. And the last one I did with PNC Bank here in St. Louis. And I told the VP there that I was dealing with, I said, look, I don't want to do this because if I go and do that interview with your retirement guy, you won't talk to me. And she said, I promise I'll talk to you. And so she said, okay. So she set it up. And then she asked to bring in one of her tellers because she wanted her to learn what we were saying and doing. And the irony is I knew that teller was doing exactly what I'm doing. So she didn't know her people as well as I did. But then the irony is the guy got on, he says, it's PNC's policy that we want you to have somewhere between 6 and 9 months worth of income or cash in the bank for emergencies. And I just grinned at her and shook my head no. And I said, he says, what do you think? And I said, I think it's stupid. And, the phone went blank for a minute. He said, can I ask why? And I said, yeah, for that much money, I can buy two houses that give me $500 each for the rest of my life. And it's going to go up every year. And he said, oh, I never thought of that because, they're stuck by the laws to what they get to tell you and not tell you. And mostly they don't tell you what you really need to know.
Or I don't know. I would say they're also stuck by what they don't know. Their ignorance, right? So, I'd say talk to a financial advisor that knows real estate and, they know everything and they can offer everything. Somebody who can tell you how to put money in an IRA and invest in real estate through your IRA correctly and the right way, as opposed to just, oh, well, here's what we do. Here's the cookie cutter. It may not fit you, Dwayne, but we're going to make sure you fit in the cookie cutter. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing today because I had a CPA many years ago told me to get out of my IRAs. And I did that because he said, you're a control freak and you'll make more money than you'll ever make in an IRA. And he's absolutely right.
Huh. Okay.
Because I put that money out there. Just like I talked to a banker and I bought an annuity that they tell you not to buy most of the time.
Yeah.
And he used to take me to lunch about at least once a month to argue stocks versus real estate. He never won one, but I got a lot of free lunches.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Could I ask a question, Dwayne?
Sure. Go ask.
You said financial advisor told you to get out of your IRA.
He was a lawyer CPA, not a financial advisor.
And what did you do instead of that? That's when you got more into the real estate or what?
Yes. And I'm a student of Black Monday, if you're familiar with that. Does anybody know what Black Monday means?
Oh, well, not
It
the
was,
October 1987.
yeah, that's about when it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
what I was thinking. 87, you talking about?
yeah, lost half my income in one night. And the next night we lost another 10%. And I happened to be in Australia at the time. So, couldn't do anything. I just lost my money. And the Aussie said, "What are you going to do now?" I said, "I'm going to be poor for a while, but I'm going to come back."
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And and that's the key though too, right? Is I mean, there's self-directed IRAs, that you can invest in what you want. You put in real estate. Doesn't matter if it's your money in an IRA or out an IRA, but you also get the tax advantages of it because it came from an IRA. But
Well, that's okay. Two theories, and I'm going to debate
yeah, no,
both.
and I'm not prepared enough to do this, but I'm hoping I'll have a guest at our Gateway to Freedom that is the anyway. Yeah, you'll be very very blown away by these folks. They're they
Takes a
write
lot
the
to put
book on
that guy
self-directed
away.
IRA investing in real estate. But
I know that I have bought from people who owned a property in an IRA,
yeah,
and she's a friend of mine, so I was buying it, and she said, "I will never ever do another IRA because it is so hard to get it sold and get it done." So I mean, and how you can have 20 people stand up and says mine went smooth.
yeah,
All I know is I know this one personally, and I know that she's a good operator. And when she had that kind of problems, and I know we had to keep doing book work, and maybe things have changed. But also, there's another thing out there: is tomorrow the government may say, "Oh, those Roths, they're no longer tax exempt.
right,
We need the money."
right.
And really,
True.
how do you fight that?
Yeah, and I mean, they could say that about anything and everything, right? No
Nope,
matter what instrument you use or tool you use, the games could change. The rules of the game could change.
mine have never changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all the same. Goes into, goes out of.
uh,
I like that. I'm a fan of paying them off.
yeah,
And people say, "Oh no, you don't want to do that because it ties up, or you've got all that equity tied up." What I would suggest to this group is you go and get a line of credit against all of your properties, and
right,
it doesn't cost you anything until you want to buy something.
right.
Oh, damn, that worked really well. And the last gal I had that did that, I could just send her a fax and she'd put the money in my checking account that
Mm,
day.
yeah,
But they don't all do that, and that was a small bank.
yeah, true. Well, hey, I don't mean to cut off. I mentioned that I was going to get into DSCR for a second, just because I had been getting a few questions about them recently, and specifically today, I had a conversation with a gentleman who's talking about selling a property that they own that was curious about because a few different things, right? The whole reverse engineering part. You all know what DSCR is, right? Is there anybody
Debt
who
service
does not?
ratio.
Debt service coverage ratio loan, right? It's where basically the rent you bring in has to cover a certain percentage of what's going to be your mortgage payment, your insurance, and your taxes, right? So with that being, that you can reverse engineer what it should appraise for, what you should be able to sell it for based on that formula. I think the going rate right now there are, depending on, and I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a realtor, I'm not an agent, I'm none of that stuff. So check with those folks, check with the professional beings. I'm just showing you from an application standpoint because we just, we're closing on, should be Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We're closing on 2 properties that our buyer is using a DSCR loan to purchase the property, and we were dead on. Obviously, like any appraisal, right? If you sell a house correctly and you have a good price and your price is correct, the appraisal is going to come back right at that price usually, right? The contract price. But anyway, it was exactly what happened in our DSCR situation. And so I wanted to just kind of go through that because the person was kind of curious about what they could sell their property for. And I said, why don't you reverse engineer it with DSCR, figure out what a DSCR buyer could buy it for. And then that way, you know what you can sell it for. So you're not shortchanging yourself. You're not offering something you could have sold for $100,000. You're selling for $70,000 or whatever that might be, right? So I just wanted to take a couple minutes because I am very committed to ending this at 8 o'clock on the nose because I'm very bad at time. This is a 1 hour Zoom.
I thought it said till 9.
No, it's till 8.
Oh, right.
It's all right. It's okay.
So what's your DSCR number? 1 point what?
The ones I've heard is 1.25. So what that means, folks, is that you need to have. I'm just throwing out a number. You need to have rent coming in at $1,250 a month to cover $1,000 worth of mortgage, insurance, and taxes. Okay. Again, just make it easy. Easy number. That's what that 1.25 means, right? So basically, let me give you some background, and I'm going to share my screen here real quick. And hopefully you all can see my screen. Little shout out to the Gateway to Freedom event. But yeah, so debt service coverage ratio. The first thing I wanted to know is what's the interest rate going right now on a DSCR in like a St. Louis zip code here. So basically, in all of them, when I was doing my research, it was saying, it could be anywhere from 6.5 to 8.5. Oh, that was a cop out. So I was like, okay, let's use 7.5 right in the middle. Obviously, a lot of different variables there. I just wanted to get in the ballpark of what's that going for right now. So there's this funds loan has a nice little DSCR calculator. Fundloans.com. And this is actually our target property, this little thing. It looks a little different now than it did right here in that picture, but that little white SUV picture here, that right there, that's the property that we're looking at. A little 2-bedroom property. So I went out to a website. I go out to there's a realtor website that I go to that will actually show me sold properties. So I can not just go to like Zillow to look up sold homes, which I do that as well, but I go to a realtor website, an actual real estate company website that will let me filter out sold properties as well to kind of, again, so I can go back and kind of see what these are looking for, but anyway, or what those are selling for. But anyway, the person told me as I was going through my interview with them, I was like, what are you getting for rent right now on this 2-bedroom house? And they said 800. I was like, okay, I think it's a little under what it could be in that area. I think it could be upwards of 1,000, maybe even 1,050, but 800 is what they're getting right now. So I was like, why don't we calculate what you could sell it for as is right now with your tenant in place right now? And it's a Section 8 tenant at 800 a month. And I'm leaving this price value blank right here. Can you all can see my screen, right?
Yep.
If this doesn't make any sense, folks, let me know. I'm not going to be mad if you stop me and ask a question along the way or anything like that. I just want to kind of get through this in the next 9 minutes, but I don't want to lose anybody either. So we'll plug in. I'm going to plug in the sales price later, after I enter all the other information, just so I can keep playing with the sales price to find the finally reverse engineer to the sales price we could sell for. I plugged in 7.5% interest rate as that median between 6.5 and 8.5. Could be a little higher, could be a little less. It's a 30-year DSCR loan. No P&I because we're going to have 25% down payment. That thing. Insurance on this one. I was talking to the person. We think it's $55 every $55 a month. It's like $650 every 6 months. Sorry, $1,300, which is $110 for the year in insurance. Taxes was $166 because taxes was, and I have it right here. Taxes were $1,985.16, so I plugged in like $1,990. So $1,990 is $166 a month. All right, there's no HOA. So right now the coverage ratio is 0 because we haven't put in a sales price yet. Okay. So that's what we're plugging in here. We're plugging in all the details here. Now we can plug in a property value. Anybody want to give me like a sales price? What do you think a house would sell for? A 2-bedroom house that's making $800 a month in rent. Obviously your insurance and taxes, depends on what that's going to be. But what would you say?
60,000.
How much? 60?
60. Because I got a question. Are you including in that 25% down?
It's either 25. I mean, it's 25% down, or some lenders will allow it to be equity. But so 25% down, so it's 45. They're basically getting a $45,000 loan is basically what it would be. That's a 1.35. So that's 1.354. So we're going to go a little higher than 60. Does it mean it's 70,000? At 70,000, we're a little low, 1.24. So it needs to be probably about 67, maybe. or 1.27, maybe a little more, 68. That's going to be a little high, 1.265. So you can do like 69. $69,000 as is, $800. Now, again, if they don't require 25%, they require 20%. That's going to drop it, drop it down further. So now you get closer to what Dwayne was saying, where maybe it's 60 or 63 or something like that. Maybe a 64. Yeah, 65 maybe. Oh, not 65. Yeah, 65. Okay, if they allow 20. If they don't, then it's going to be more like that. What I forgot what we were 69, I think is what it was. Yeah. So that's as is. Now, if they put money into it and they update their kitchen, maybe they do a little updating on some flooring and they paint, they could actually get a new tenant in there and probably get it close to that, maybe let's just call it that $1,000 a month rent. Now that 69,000 is a 1.56. So is that more of a 75? Is it more of a 90? It looks like it's more of a 95, right? I mean, it's even higher. It's probably even over 100. No, not quite 100. So like 99.5 probably. Yeah, there we go. Now, but that's the thing. So you may be able to make it work with the DSCR lender that their numbers, it's a 1.25. Good, that's cool. But the DSCR lender is still going to have an appraisal done, right? And so I went out to that website to see what's being sold in the area. And some of these are not as is, like this one's as is at 54.9, 55. There's some of these that may or may not have had, rehab work done to them as well. I don't know if this one has. This one looks like it's been rehabbed a little bit. I wouldn't choose that paint color. And the flooring hasn't been done probably in 20 years. But anyway, it's got that old early 2000s ceramic flooring. But anyway, there's some things missing, right? There's not a ton of counter space. It doesn't look super nice. But if you do go to Zillow, like Zillow's showing 2-bedroom, 1 bath in the last 90 days in that same town, 95, 85, 79. And then there's their 48s, 25s, 13s as is, needing love. But if you look at any of those, this is that one that I thought, no, it's not. Sorry, this one doesn't have any pictures. Yeah, no. But anyway, so you can look and see. Basically, that's a DSCR loan. I would, if anybody's ever thought about doing those, even if you want to like cash out on your own rental portfolio, based on what you're, depending on what you're getting for rent, that Fund Loans has a pretty nice and easy calculator. Like a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom, we're getting ready to sell on the market, probably for 120 at $1,450 a month in rent. Interest rate, let's just keep it there. Insurance, I'm trying to remember what that was. It's probably more like, I'm just plugging these in right now because I think that's about right. But still, even that at 120 is 1.5. So you can keep playing with this and say, okay, well, I could probably get 135 for it. Yeah, you probably get 150 for it, maybe. Yeah, but it's not going to appraise that way. So there's no way the bank, I mean, even though it's 1.3, they're probably not going to be able to buy it that way. So again, you just have to weigh that, plug in the DSCR numbers, but then make sure comps are actually appraising that way at sale as well. Any questions about that?
Can I interject here quickly?
Yeah, sure.
You're looking to sell at retail, not wholesale, or not to a renting a person that rents like us.
Yeah, like a landlord. Yeah. Like there's one right now.
The landlord would not pay that much money.
I'm telling you right now, I just sold them, Dwayne. I just sold it.
To a landlord?
Yeah. One right here, $1,300 a month, 102.5, 3-bedroom house. Because it's got a 1.5 that number right there is crazy.
Well, yeah, but you're not doing a good analysis. I'm sorry.
Okay, how's that? This is the calculator they use. And this is what they're appraising for. The appraisal came back exactly 102.5 for a $1,300 a month rent place. This is a real life example, Dwayne.
I know my real numbers. and I'm betting that that would not work in my spreadsheet.
Okay.
And before we leave, I would like to give you a freebie if you guys want to use it. It's called Backflip. It's a and what are there, those things you punch and it does stuff for you. It's free, and I've got it at a big meeting I went to, and they actually loan money too. And they're hoping to get your help by borrowing money from them. But it's free right now, and it does comps for you right on the spot.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, give that a try. Backflip. What I will do is I'll leave this up and running, the meeting up and running. I'm going to turn off the camera and my microphone. But if you would drop your name and contact information in the chat, that way everybody has your information and they can reach out to you and talk to you if you want. If you want, you don't have to. I just do this every time we do this, just so everybody has people's contact information, phone number, your cell phone, your email, if you want to. We are going to do this again in 2 weeks. So we'd love to have you join us in 2 weeks. But with that being said, everybody, thanks so much for coming out today. And I'm getting better at this hard stop at 8 o'clock thing. Garrett, nice to see you. Sorry, I didn't see it till just about now when I let you in. I saw you, but where are you calling from or joining us from?
I'm down in Dallas right now.
Are you really?
Yeah, but I was just getting ready to type in. So I'm a GC.
Okay.
I'm looking for anybody that might have use for. I live in the St. Louis area.
Okay.
I'm just visiting.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, formerly working for the city of St. Louis.
Okay.
And did inspections there.
Oh.
Yeah, since then I started a general contractor business and basically just been looking for work in the St. Louis area for licensed electrical, plumbing,
Okay.
HVAC. But it's just been kind of the networking hasn't been there.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, drop your information in the chat if you would, and I'd love to reach out to you and talk to you as well. I'm sure folks on the call would too. We're always looking for good contractors.
I've got a good portfolio that I can share with you guys, pictures and befores and afters, and the whole metro area, both St. Louis County, and also too in the bi-state region.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm going to turn off my camera, turn off my microphone, and you guys drop your information in the chat if you would. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, everybody.
That's weak.
All